So Fresno State was off this week. This is actually the first of three bye weeks for the season. They are 4-1, and I'll discuss what they are and what they could be and what they need to do going forward in another video. But today I want to get to a topic I didn't really get a chance to do so before the football season started, and that is the topic of whether the new built Pac-12 will be a quote unquote Power Five league starting in 2026. And this back and forth on social media. People who are insisting that it is versus people who insist that it's just a glorified Mountain West. And I would say from a legal standpoint, especially since the Pac was going to be stuck with a lot of bills when you look at the House settlement, they got a strong case to be at least granted an autonomous status back legally. Like, if you are going to be stuck with the bills, you should get some of the benefits. But in all honesty, you can't really say they are a power league. They are going to be better than the rest of the Group of Five conferences, for sure. They'll be better than the American. They'll be better than the Mountain West. They'll be better than the Sun Belt and so forth. But they're not going to be as good as the four autonomous leagues. Although I would make the case that they are pound for pound as good as the Big 12 and the ACC outside of five teams like the Miami, Florida State, Clemson, and so forth. But let me go over some rankings for you that the Pac-12 media has been talking about. For football, starting 2026, they are third best collective winning percentage. This is the Colorado State, Boise State, Fresno State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Utah State, and Texas State. They are third overall in national percentage. I'm looking ahead. That's baseball. But yeah, for football, they are third collective winning percentage, below the SEC and Big Ten at 59.7. They are 5 out of 7 teams have been in the college football top 25. That is fourth, 71%. Behind the SEC, Big 12, and Big 10. Above the ACC. And in terms of top 25 rankings, 6 of the 7 teams, this is before Texas Tech joined, just so you know, they are third with 86%. All right. So that's, again, if you look at that measurement, they are definitely going to be better than, like I said, the Sun Belt, for instance. Now, is your Pac-12 champion going to go be able to beat the SEC champion? Probably not. Probably not on average. But again, would you be shocked if you saw, say, I don't know, we saw it happen earlier. Fresno State beat Purdue a couple years ago, or San Diego State beat Cal. No, you wouldn't be shocked by that. All right, so they are comparable to outside of the truly elite. Now, for basketball, with Gonzaga, they are most certainly, I think you can say they're a power league. In terms of national, the net, they are fourth behind the Big 12, Big 10, SEC. 7 out of 8 members outside Fresno State made the NCAA tournament since 2021. The one going to be one of the 3 men's with multiple title game appearances. They've got, again, I don't know how, especially if they have St. Mary's for basketball, I don't know how you can't say they are not a true power basketball league with the likes of the SEC, Big East, Big Ten, etc. Might not be as big, but pound for pound, they are going to be a real power. Now for baseball. Again, this does include Dallas Baptist and Texas State. They would be, in terms of RPI, fifth behind the SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10 at 106%. The Pac will be a multiple baseball league with Oregon State and Dallas Baptist. And if you're a big baseball fan like I am, that's huge for Fresno State. And there's no reason why San Diego State cannot be a quality baseball program. Although, to be fair, they are competing against 2 other schools in San Diego that play at the same level as they do. San Diego, which is in the West Coast League, and San Diego UC, which is in the Big West. But again, hopefully this can develop into, you've got 2 for sure, Dallas Baptist and Oregon State, that are going to be baseball powers. And they are one of the 3 leagues of multiple programs averaging 25% or better RPO. They got the 5th best collective win percentage. This is in baseball. And third nationally percentage teams earning NCAA tournament bids annually. So the three major sports, you've got football, which, again, will be a better league than even the American. I think the Pac, you could say safely, will get bids over anybody else. At least one, their champion is a group of 5 member or thereabouts. We'll see if you can get more, but one for sure. And I don't think it will be more. I think just because, you've got the Big 12 will probably only get 1 member. ACC, maybe 2 if Notre Dame doesn't get in. But outside of that, it'll be, it's the Big 10, SEC Invitational until proven otherwise. But one thing the Pac does have is the ability to grow into a power league with the right leadership. Mountain West, you cannot say that. Mountain West only has, their 2 flagship schools right now are UNLV and Air Force. And that's not a good place to be if you want to go anywhere. If those are your 2 linchpin schools keeping the whole conference from collapsing. All right? Again, basketball, the Mountain West only have like Nevada, New Mexico, maybe Grand Canyon, most. The Pac will have like 5 going. So, again, you can build yourself into a power league. And how can you do that with the right leadership? Well, for one, you have to have the right media facilities. And the Pac-12 Enterprises is already that. I don't think people really understand how much of a gold mine that is for the members. I mean, they're already producing games like Stanford, ESPN, Golden State Warriors, so forth. They are going to make a lot of money with that. And with the studios, they can start acting like a power league. And what does that mean? Well, for one, the Pac used to have their own Sirius XM channel, like the SEC does, Big Ten, and so forth. They shut it down after the Exodus, but start that thing up again in July 2026, You can do that. That is something that you can control in your own house. Another thing you can control is being the Pac-12 after dark. That is something that everybody wants to have. All right? We see this all the time on social media. I miss Pac-12 after dark, okay? So on and so forth. This past weekend, the only game ESPN had on the 7 o'clock West Coast time slot that was not an FCS game was BYU at Colorado. They'd love to have a slot there. And not just visibility matters. And if you are the Pac, you have something that no league has, is that you can have all your games on a late night slot. You can be that viable sort of a late night only team that everybody wants to watch. None of the others can say that. ACC only has Cal and Stanford. Big 12, and Big 10, they're not going to have all their West Coast teams, or teams that can play at the 7 o'clock, 10:30 slot. And that time slot, they're just not going to. Pac can. And that is where you can increase yourself, not just with gamblers, but you can be that late night thing. And if you settle yourself in the minds of sport fans that you are the late night West Coast Conference, which there is a gap for now, you will inevitably grow with that. And those are just 2 ways it can help itself. All right? So, right now, it's not a power league, but it can grow into one. That's where it is. And that's a better place to be than most other conferences. And I'm so glad Fresno State will be a part of it. But, we'll see what happens this upcoming week against Nevada. But for now, go Dogs.